How are you doing? Welcome to a new online video. This time we'll be flying from Manchester to London City. Today at London it's extremely windy. I can just hear the wind from my ear. Okay. So let's start. Come on. This is trying to do a quick tutorial, so I'll be trying to explain a little what I'm doing, but especially at the end, because the landing is going to be extremely difficult. We'll see where we can go. Okay, so first of all, just to ensure that we've got no batteries, we could check on the landing gear to see that all the lights are switched off, despite the clock is always working. I've just changed a little the time, so we'll be arriving into London City when it's getting dark, and from time to time I'll be reading on any comment that you could do. I cannot be reading them now. Okay, cool. So we've got external power. Okay, as I've told you, once we've switched on the batteries, we will have the 3 landing lights in green. We've got external power available, so we can switch it on, and then we'll go to align the IRS. So IRS 1, we need to hold until the on batteries light is off. Then 2, which is the one in the right, hold for a while, and then 3. With these, our GPS and IRS will be starting the alignment with our current position here at Manchester in door number 6. Okay, let's illuminate a little all the screens. This one's in the center. Yes, it's going to get dark very quick. Let's do also that. The ones for the co-pilot. On this flight, it would be really helpful to have someone to help me. And even, I think I'm going to switch on the lights from the cabin, which are these, okay? Here we've got the time for the IRS being aligned, more than 7 minutes, so we are going to take this time for preparing the following. Right click, plugins. I'm opening 2 screens mainly now. The Toliss Interactive Simulation Control System, TISCS. We are going to go to this page where we'll be entering the data about passengers and stuff like that. And I'm going to open in the other page the ABI tab, which although I've got it here, I cannot manipulate it with my mouse. I could potentially with this, but that's not something that I really enjoy while I'm flying. It's fine, you could use your remote controllers, but it's not something that I find comfortable myself. Mostly because while I'm flying, here I've got my joystick, you see, it's already knocking on the table, and so it's really uncomfortable, to be honest. So, in fact, what I'm going to do, it's even more, well, I'm going to leave it here, and if it doesn't disappear in a minute, I'll switch off the batteries, just opening it. The next window that I'm going to open is ABI tab, okay, and I'm going to be loading here my flight plan, which is this one that we have here. I've just prepared it. It's Manchester to London City. It's a flight for around 50 minutes. Okay, the winds are let's just start going for that, and then I'm going to start preparing the flight plan. Okay, before I start doing something else, I should, as I'm going to operate with the APU, I'm going to test that everything is fine. Yep, we can hear that. Okay, let me do another thing. When you test your fire alarms, here, not in this one, on the upper one in the center. Here we should see, come on. Well, if I move it up, yes, okay, up, so you can see that this has been informed with the APU fire land us up now. Okay, I'm gonna test also engines before starting them on. Engine 1 fire. Also here this red light should be appearing, and right engine 2 fire. Okay, so now we can close this window either by clicking here or just on the screen itself. Fine, then let's go for the weights. People should be already boarding. I've got those two out, if I'm not wrong. Then let's see how many people we've got on board. This is usually a page that the people on ground will give you. By the way, people on ground, we should be starting the recording for ground, which is this one. Okay. So we can start also the conversations that we are recording with people on the ground. Yeah, people on board is one for one. What I've said is that this page usually is given by the people on ground once the final boarding has been completed. But in this case, we imagine that everyone is coming for this amazing flight. So one for one. Come on. And then let's calculate the zero fuel weight. And I'm going to use a small trick, which is this one, estimated zero fuel weight, 57 tons almost, okay? So here's where we've got the zero fuel weight. Let me move this up. 57, we've got 58. Let's remove some weight from the front. You'll see that the crosses start moving. The black one is where currently the center of gravity is established. Okay. But you see, if I move it to the left or to the right, we shouldn't be operating the plane beyond these boundaries at all. Okay. So we've set 57 tons, right? 57, yes, 56,972. We've got 100 kilos. That should be fine. Then when we apply, all the crosses will be aligned. Okay. You see, the blue, which is the current flight, and the what we had blocked. And then for fuel, we've got to take block fuel 5.8 tons, 5,800 kilos. We don't want to take more, we don't want to take less, because the alternative airport is in Paris, I think. No. Well, yes, I think that as alternative I had, I don't remember if I put again back to Manchester, where the weather seems to be a little nicer. Yeah, it seems so. Okay. But that will give us for another hour, so we've got enough fuel on board. Okay, so we apply all the settings and this is done. Now we come into the CDU. Let me read if you added any comment. Hola, papi. That's my daughter. She just joined. How are you doing, darling? Okay. She's my biggest fan, I guess. Okay. With this, we can increase the bright from the CDU, then we come to init and we say we are going from Echo Golf Charlie Charlie to Echo Golf Lima Charlie. Okay, we can load the plan manually from here, from what we've downloaded from SimBrief. I thought it's only 1 point, but well, I could have entered it manually, but anyway, it's done. Still IRS in 1 minute, but we are going to do it here. Flight number, I'm going to type the number of my company, ESR 111 or Oasis 111. So if you see me at some point in eval, just you could say hi, cost index, and it's giving me 190, but I'm going to do it at 210. Okay, 210. Temperature outside at 21,000 feet, it's minus 26 degrees. That's the standard temperature. I think that further down, well, I would explain that in more detail in any other day. I'm planning to do an extended tutorial of this. We could also request for the winds here, but the best that we could do is just switch on the radios, pump up the volume, and listen to it. "191 at 10, so it will be crosswinds, 5 degrees, and we already have the QNH already configured for 0988. Okay, we're going to the next page now. Well, no, first of all we return and we go to the next page, and we are going to enter the zero fuel weight center of gravity, which is 21.1 28.1 slash, and our current zero fuel weight, which is 57.1. I'm rounding to the closest. Okay, so we've got 57,000 kilos and 87, so I'm rounding it to 57,100. And the fuel that we've got for this flight, if I do this a little bit slower, smaller, it's 5.8. 5.8. Okay, then this is going to calculate the trip time, which is incorrect because we are doing a big turn. That would be if it was a direct turn. I haven't typed in SIDS or stars, and the star that we will have today for runway 27, if winds do not change, and I doubt that they will, you'll see what happens while we are landing. It's doing like an S or a Z. Okay, it tells automatically the takeoff weight and the landing weight, which more or less should match the one that we've got here. So takeoff weight is 62.5, we've got 62.7, and landing weight 61.5. Well, that's for the difference. So the takeoff weight, it's really matching. The landing weight, it's because of the time that it has been calculated. Okay, we've got more here and we've got less here because the flight, as you see, it's 48 minutes. So that would be our really landing weight. Next we go to flight plan. We are going to enter the departures for today. Well, let me check on, I'm going to be sure. Let me just, for a moment you'll lose the image, but it's because I want to be sure that I've connected myself to eval. And yes, I was. So I'm going back. Now all the, yes, now you should be able again to be seeing everything. But the Windows Habitat disappears, unfortunately. Plugins, and I need to reopen it twice. Plugins, Habitat, toggle now. Okay. And let me check now whether there's any kind of control. Hi Raul, how you doing? I'm going to check if there's any control on the area on web I. So I'm going to take an I on web I, and there's no control in Manchester. And in fact, there are 3 flights coming, landing in around an hour, so we will have time enough to depart. And we are the only ones taking off, okay? So it's fine, and rest of UK, it seems completely clear, except Stansted. So nothing to be bothered now. That's one of the other inconveniences flying at IVAO or VATSIM, because you cannot bring the screens inside to communicate with them. So unless it's with voice, you just need to be checking or having lots of screens all around you, and it's not worth, in my opinion. Okay, so the departure is Listo to Romeo. It's runway 23 right. So we are going to select it here, 23 right, which is the closest that we've got actually from us. Listo to right. There's no transition. We can insert, and then our destination, that's gonna be funny. It's gonna be Jaco 1 Hotel. So, and I'm entering this, in this case it will be ILS 27. It's not the most beautiful approach. The other one is much more beautiful, but it still has the gradient of 5.5 degrees, okay, which is just like. I'll be telling you a little bit more about the airport while we are on flight. In fact, this airplane is not landing in London City. It's very short runway, but the A319, it's doing it. So I think it was via. Well, let me take a look. Jaco, I'm not sure about which via should I choose. So let's go to look for all the airports. First of all, it's Echo Golf Charlie Charlie. Let's open it. Let's open the airport charts. So this will be the one. We are here, 23 right. It's just around there, so we will be taxiing through this area and then straight. Okay, via Juliet. Bravo, Kilo, Juliet, and then Juliet 2, and we'll hold short of the runway. Departure we've set, it was, when they say it, I will remember. Listo to Romeo, I think. Yep, exactly. So we will climb up to 2 miles when we will turn left, heading 162. We've got a couple of restrictions. Listo should be closed at 5,000. And then just direct to our VOR, and then the star will start, okay? Which is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to start opening search. Delete Lima Charlie. Echo Golf Lima Charlie. It's the ICAO code for London City Airport. There we go. 19 feet of elevation. The length 4,300 feet only, and 30 meters of width, so it's also very narrow. And here I'm going to do, first of all, the arrival, which we've said was Jaco 1 Hotel. It's a AirNav radio navigation arrival from Honeylee, which is our VOR, which we will enter in a bit. And then there's a transition from Jaco to the airport, which is here. So this is the S that I was telling you before. And then it will be an arrival straight to runway 27. Runway 27. Okay, next one. Let me check whether it's this transition, Lavno. Yes, Lavno is the transition for runway 27, and we'll be doing, well, in theory it's this, but just to shorten a little the flight, I'm going to do it straight from Baku. We'll be going to Rapsa and then straight into the runway. And the last one now that we need is the ILS, which is on the approach, this one. Okay, I'm going to start entering all of this now. So we've said it was this here, which is Lavno 1 Juliet. Okay, the other Lavno, which is Lavno 1 Golf, is for the airplanes coming from the south. I don't know what they are doing this mess. There's a difference between the height. In this case it's 90, but they are crossing one amongst the other just to go to the same place. It doesn't make much sense, but hey, that's how it is. Okay, so we've said it's Lavno 1 Juliet. Lavno 1 Juliet. Okay, and that's it. Let's insert it. Let's move to flight plan and let's review our plan. Let's change a little the length of this to 20. I'm going also to click on show constraints. So I'll have all the constraints about height and speed that I've got in my flight plan being shown here. I'm going to put this a little bit more bright. Yep, that's better. And let's review the flight plan. We've said we go up to 2 miles, this with this. So now I've got 4 screens around me, and I'm going already to do this. So later I'll be able to enter the performance. 2 miles, we've got this MCT, 2 miles, height. There's no constraint here apparently, unless it's written somewhere. In the event of a missed approach, well, we would assume that this constraint about a 1770 could be fine. Then turn left, climb to flight level. Here we start seeing something which is wrong. It's 60, but we've got Listo at 50, and Listo here is at flight level 100. So that's the first thing that we are going to update. We are going to change this. Whoop, 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 whoop. Return. No, we are going to set this up at 5000, which is our initial cleared altitude. We are going to select here altitude constraint for 5000. Or below. I would assume that I'm already over the 3000. Return. And here also we would have the flight level 50. Okay. So this one at Listo, it doesn't allow me to type it. So I don't know whether this is a bug or what's going on. But at least I should be able to enter that constraint. It's already asking me to go up and quicker. Doing it here, it doesn't allow me. And if I go, I'm not programming any hold yet. So it's 5000, so the speed constraint should be not more than 250. Okay, it's ignoring me. Well, we will maintain it manually. Here for sure we should have, let me see if I do this one. And it's not respecting it either. No, it's ignoring me completely. Okay. It's what it is. Well, after that, let's continue here. These are the points where we need to be careful about the constraints, the 5000. Let's go down Then we've got this. We also have the constraint on Listo for 5,000. So here it's been shown, but it's not reflected on the CDU. Weird, but it's what it is. Then we've got after, well, the 7, then Listo. Then we've got Hon, which is the VOR, where we already start our descent. Rock B must be crossed at 2,000. And here it is, and it's also drawn with the constraint. So let's go a couple up. There we go. Here it's Rock-B. TixX, odd vote. Nothing happens in theory here. Nudma. Well, here we should be. This is for the hold, but if we see here, we need to be at 120. So there's no other height constraint, but we must cross inlim below 250 and flight level 120, which we've said it's inlim, which is here. 2 to 4 already it's giving to us, so that's great. 120, perfect. No, inlim, we can see it here. Then Jaco, which is the initial of the transition. 210 knots at flight level 90, perfect. And then it's when all this mess comes, and I'm going to do something now that I've got time. I'm going to go straight from Babku into Rapsa. So if I click here on Babku and I tell it that the next waypoint is going to be Rapsa, otherwise, as you see, it's going down to Nomba and then Babku, okay? And then straight down as we could see it. Let me zoom out a little bit more. Yeah, it's doing me all this. Well, I'm pointing as if you could be able to see. Well, you're able to see me, but you cannot see that I'm pointing inside. As if I were doing this, so I'll point it with the mouse. So I'm going to go from Babku direct to Rapsa, okay? So we type it in here, Romeo Alpha. I already had the Romeo Alpha. Romeo Alpha, Victor, Sierra Alpha. Done. Babku to Rapsa. This does Babku. Oh yeah, it's been done now. From Babku into Rapsa, instead of coming and doing all that shit, is just going straight. And then let's continue. We were in Nonba, Babku. Here, this point will not appear, so Rapsa must be at 6,000. It is. Gapgi, and really something that I don't like is that we are at not much distance. Well, at least from here, I'm going to start to reduce the speed. Okay, from Gapgi, it's 210, but I want to go slower. So what I'm going to do is say here, just a speed constraint that I'm typing for 170. Also, I'll be controlling almost the whole descent manually, because I really enjoy flying this stuff. Let's do more zoom because we are already here on Rapsa. And then a straight Rapsa at 6,000. Lima Charlie Echo 07. It's 4,000. Then we go to Labnot 3,000. Labnot 3,000, 171. And yep, straight into the landing, which is this matte profile for 5.5 degrees. Usually the descent degree is 3 degrees. In this case, it's almost double. It's mostly from this runway. It's not to avoid many. So there are no businesses or buildings in this area. If we come from the west, then yes, we are crossing the London city. We've got all the skyscrapers like the Shard, which I guess it's one. We've got a HSBC Bank Hongon Shankar, I'm going to mute the phone. I'm going to mute the phone. And well, pretty much we've got the flight plan reviewed. We've got a few things just to enter. One is the performance. Now that we've got a runway, we've calculated it. We are going to take off with flaps at position 1. Let me see. Because it was, I don't know whether it was my wife or my daughter. And probably she's trying to tell me something. I guess that's the message from just a lost call. Yeah, that's a lost call. That's fine. Let me have a drink. Okay. You're going to enter then the speeds. Oh my gosh. ¿Sí? Dime. ¿Qué? Dime. Sí. Hala, pero me has interrumpido, claro. Hala. No, hija. ¿Qué? Vale. I will remember to look at the facts. Vale. Okay. Vale. He's giving me some advice. You could type in the chat anyway, and you could coordinate the people. Bye, darling. It was my daughter. Okay, come on. Jesus. V1, we've said it's 150, 150, 153, 150, 150 for rotate, and 153. V2, which is the safe speed to start flying. Transition altitude is 5,000. Flaps, we are going to go with a configuration for 1/up 0.3. So up 0.3, and flex temperature, it's gonna be 64. Okay, the runway at Manchester is long enough. In theory, with this, I think we've got everything already configured, so we are going to switch on APU, nav lights to position 1, seat belts, no smoking lights, although the pilot here is smoking on its own. Going to switch on fuel pumps. Airbus philosophy as usual, all the lights should be turned off. If they are off, it means it's all good except APU, external power, and ground control. Everything looks okay so far. I'm going to also set up this on auto. Be sure that this is switched off. 2000. We don't have any. Well, just we can type this code today for 2020. The year. Come on, why not? Okay. While it's on 2000, you'll remember that you've not been given, or that you must enter the squawk just in case. I'm going to switch this back to ARC. For the departure, more zoom. APU is already available. Okay. So it means that we can turn on our blitz. That's generating air, so we will be able to start our engines. We are going, there's not much to be configured. So we've got the height. We could, just in case there's any emergency, because in this CDU we cannot configure the secondary flight plan, so there's no point about explaining that. Hopefully on the next update it will come, and then I'll do a more detailed and long tutorial step by step in different videos, okay? So you don't need to be here for the whole duration, as I've done for the 737. Okay, so here we could enter, that's it, 11355 for Manchester on the radios, 113.5. We can do it like that, or we could do it typing Mike Charlie Tango. Okay, in fact it's here, so there's no point about doing it now. And well, that's it pretty much, because this is radial 360, which is where we are going to cross. We cannot enter any fix here either, so it's time to call for the pushback. So plugins, better pushback, start pushback, yeah, and that's where we want to go. I already had it programmed from before. Doors should be closed. Let's switch on beacon. I might forget something because I'm not following it by the book, but I hope I don't. I hope I don't. Okay, this man is coming. Yep. It's getting dark. I'm going to do one trick, which is we put the sun over there. I want a little bit more of sun, not much. As you see here in UK, the sun doesn't go very up in winter. Okay, something like that should be fine. It's connecting now. Doors have been closed. It's getting in. We'll pick the wheels, we'll hold them, we'll lift the front gear, done. We are ready to start. Engines almost. Turn on wings. Turn release parking brake. It starts ringing, and we can start engines already. Okay, we can close this all so far. So move it to the right. Engine 1, start, and we start monitoring the start of the engine. Valve is open on the ignition. It's a little slow, but step by step we'll be earning N1. We've got already pressure. Still no fuel used. N1 is also rising. Temperature increasing. All seems okay. And in approximately 10 seconds we will have it available. We've heard that the fuel has already started feeding it, and there we go. There's ignition available. It's telling us now that the front wheel is blocked. Okay, here we go to the second one. Let's open this because this is what we need right now. We don't switch off yet the APU. It's been finished. Parking brake. Temperatures rising. There's ignition. And one increasing. There we go. You've seen a pop-up for the lights. It means that it's already been fed from the two generators that before we had here with fault, generator 1 and generator 2. Now the electricity is coming from our engines. Okay, we've got both engines available. We can take a look. We can tell the guy just to quit, and I'm going to read you in the meanwhile. Solo faltaba ya el sombrerito. Oh my god, the boss. Yeah, sombrerito is the hat. Okay. Nevertheless, this guy should be releasing. And we are ready to start our taxi. Flaps. Before anything, the truck is leaving. We come here into flight controls and we will ensure that everything is working properly and as expected. We turn left. Yeah, we can see it here better. We turn left, right, up, down. We'll with the pedals to the left and to the right. Everything seems okay. We can say bye to the guy that pushed us. Taxi lights. Now we can already switch off the APU. It will extinguish in a few minutes. Runway turn on. Pretty much that's it. The takeoff config. Well, we need auto brake max. Seatbelt is on. Advise the crew. Cabin's ready, and our spoilers. Everything looks green, so we are ready to go. Come on. We accelerate just a little. Remove the parking brake. One thing we should test before we go ahead is that the plane stops itself, so brakes, it means that they are working. That's the only flight control that we had missing before. And here we go. So we are going to come through Lima 1 straight into Kilo and then Juliet to the runway. Look, there we've got an A380 which has been discontinued by Airbus, parked in the corner. Manchester Airport. The weather seems cool here. With the oh really, it's been very windy in London today. I still can hear the wind blowing. Okay, and then just we'll go to our left through here. No one's coming. So let's continue our taxi. And we can take a look into Manchester Airport in the meanwhile. Probably we shouldn't, but this is how it looks like. Okay, this was my arriving airport when I first came into the UK to start my job. I arrived first time for doing the interviews at Manchester. That was already almost 10 years ago. Life just runs, passes by your eyes. Let's look at it from outside. Taxi lights, which are here on the gear. Let's turn It's there. As you've seen, it's I'm starting to love really this airplane. I wasn't flying too much the Toliss. I bought it a long time ago, and I wasn't using it because I didn't like the textures. In VR, it was really something that you couldn't operate easily. But after an update that they've done, it's really good. I'd rather fly now this than Zibo or any other aircraft, and the flyability, it's just simply superb. Okay, I cannot comment on the planes that I do not have, so I do not own the Flight Factor 1, but I'm in love with Toliss, if I'm honest with you. I'm in love with it. You're on mic. I don't know why they've done this turn. This is mic 1, as we could see here. We're in Juliet 2. And here we've got the holding short for runway 23 right, which is written here on the floor. We will stop. We should ensure that no one's coming. I'm going to check by last time your messages before taking off. No, it's you. It's been people coming and leaving. There's no control on WebEye. Yes, there isn't. So that's perfect. Hi, Carol. And let's go. Let's turn off parking brake. Landing lights to on. Position to taxi. Return the squawk code. And we enter into the runway. Last look just to be sure that no one is landing, so I will not interrupt them. And it doesn't look like. No. All seems clear. Okay. On the performance, we had V1 and rotate at 150. So let's align with the runway. Here we are, more or less. Then it will be very simple. Just we push the engines. I'm going to switch this off because I'm not using it and it's useless to be wasting batteries with no reason at all. And also it's disturbing here. Okay, we leave this on auto. Okay, we've got parking brake. No, we don't. We are going to I'm going to put this into here. Move our throttle up to 50. Check that everything is fine. And then into flex position, which is the one that we've got here highlighted. And it's also been shown here. Okay, this is the flex and this is the takeoff go around. That's if we need a maximum thrust, which is not the case. Then we will move it, we will retard it to the climb position, and the Airbus will automatically perform whatever needs to be performed with the engines. Okay, so chrono up to 50. We push the forward down, remove parking brake. So I'm going to reset this now. We push forward until we reach 100 knots here. Everything looks fine, so let's go into the flex position. We hear some clicks, clicks, clicks. There we go. Oops. 100 knots. Let's try to keep the alignment. 100. We release the joystick. Speed keeps increasing. 150, V1, rotate. Positive climb. We could close this. Gear up. Okay. And that's as simple as following the cross that we've got just in front of our eyes until we arrive into 2 miles from Manchester, where we will turn left, which is now. Okay, there we go. We can change this to climb, which is the previous position. We've turned too quick. Can you put this here? We could already start feeling the wind. And let's remember that we've got a restriction for 5,000 feet. Once it goes to the S, we remove flaps and we clean the plane. Speed continues increasing. We've got the wind blowing already at 36 knots from our right, as we could see 38. Okay, so it's pushing us towards here, and we are getting to the 5,000. That's where we had that noise. We are going to lower the nose to try and keep this. And today I will not have time to explain you fully the fly-by-wire characteristics of the plane. It's automatically reducing the speed just to keep the 250 knots that we've got to maintain below 5,000. Now we could close already. Brakes, we could turn off this and this. We keep everything. We should have switched on the strobes. And we keep flying manually. That's how we could turn on the autopilot, but so far it's doing well, more or less. Well, I'm going to switch it on now for a while, and I'm going to roll a SIGI until we arrive into Listo, which is where we've got our constraint, and then we will be climbing to our flight level, which was 210. Okay, which I can already start preparing here, almost, because we are there, pretty much here, and get into Listo. The speed is being managed by the autopilot, okay? 2 miles of distance to get to Disto. You already have 4 minutes of flight. It's keeping the 5,000, and now we can increase that already to 2-1, and for the autopilot to start listening to us, we pull towards us. It starts climbing. It's increasing the speed. Also, it should keep it at 250. Okay, so to achieve that, it will raise the nose of the plane, so the speed decreases. Engines are still at now 86%, so it's not full thrust, as you could see. Okay, let me see now if you've got any comments, and I'm quickly to start explaining the arrival, which is extremely difficult just because of the weather. look how the wind makes the yeah, it's just you right now. It's just blowing from our right, and so to keep this line, just we need to be flying towards that direction, so the wind will be pushing us towards our left. Okay, 10,000, then the speed will increase to climbing performance. We can already switch off the landing lights, and seatbelts, just with the weather, how is it today? I don't think that we should. We've passed here, and we're already starting. I'm going to close this one because we don't need it anymore. I'm going to close Manchester Airport, and I'd say I'm going to close everything then for Manchester. And let's start focusing already on the arrival, because it's not that far from where we are into the start from our start. Okay, standard arrival procedure. We are navigating into Holton, so we are going to type it here, radio, and then we are going to type H. It was H-O-N, H-O-N. Come on, this has moved. We are now at 40 miles from Holton, keeping our climb to flight level 210, and we are going to do something. I'm going to switch this for a moment into normal screen, going to the toilet now that the flight is not busy, and I'll be back with you in a minute. So full screen, you should be now. If I do this and that, looking at the plane. Okay, there we go. I'll be back in just a minute. This is how the Airbus looks like. Going to go back inside the Oculus Rift. Gonna read your messages. Yes, Manchester it's fine now, but what it's really a mess is London City. Just let me show you it here. It's a complete mess. Conditions. Come on. Yeah. Echo Golf Lima Charlie. And this is what we have. Okay. Wind variable at 23 knots, casting to 38, and direction is variable. So it's crosswinds plus gusting up to 38, 40 knots almost of this. Visibility, it's fine. We've got clouds at 2,000 feet, so we will not be able to see the runway until we descend to this height. Additionally, if it wasn't enough, and yeah, there's a small drizzly, as we've got usually here. Okay, let me go back. That's how the weather looks like in London now. So I'm going to switch this to here and back to this. Okay, come on. Changing the range, still 16 miles to get into, don't remember the name of the VR. Hotel Oscar November. Gonna roll a Segi now that we've got some time. So probably from the inside camera it will be difficult to see how the plane lands, if I can, which is something still to discover. But once we do the review, I'll put it from the back camera and you'll see how the plane just lands like that. Wind is blowing from the left, the runway this direction, well, it's 270 degrees approx, and the wind is blowing from here, so just to keep the line we'll need to turn our nose into our left a lot, and just, we'll see, you'll see. That's why I said that this was going to be a really challenging approach. It's challenging because of three main factors. One, it's the runway, which we are going to revisit it now. Plugins, Habitat, and I'm talking lots. Toggle tablet, plugins, and I should already be preparing the whole descent. One is because the here we've got already a restriction for 20,000 feet, so we keep climbing. We are already at 210. So if you want to go to the toilet, that's the moment. Okay. One is because the runway, it's very short, as you could see on this diagram here, on this chart. Back, airport, visual approach profile. One is because of this. The length of the runway is just 1,500 meters, so not enough for this plane. The other one is it's very narrow. The third one is that it's extremely windy, very, very windy. And I'm going to do it manually. We could use the autopilot and auto landing and auto whatever, but then I am not enjoying it. Okay, let's review this now. 20,000. We push and we give that instruction into the MCP, and as you can see, it starts its descent. And the last one is that we are not going to have any visibility. This is the descent profile. We are not going to have absolutely any visibility until we get to the 2,000 feet. So we will be flying these legs here at 4,000, then 3,000 at Labno, and until we don't get under the 2,000 feet of height, which is 600 feet, 600 meters, so it's not that tall, we will not be able to see the runway. And once we see it, we can be high to the left, to the right. We'll see what the wind has to do with us. Let's follow now the whole star, which is this. It's starting very far from here. Even there's a star that starts in Manchester. Okay, star is the arrival. So this is flight level 20. There are no constraints here. Up to Nudna, where we need to be below 250 knots. Now the plane turns to the right. After Rugby, we are already at 20,000. I'm going to put it here, and that's how you have to do it. Click, and then release the button. I'm going to do this one here. And the trouble is that by some reason, I don't know whether it's a bug in VR, it's a bug in the plane. None of the planes has this functionality. It's keeping in memory where you've got all your floating windows when you change the view. So if I go now external and I come back internal, all the jobs that I've been doing with my neck will be gone. And that's not something that will be happy. Even though here, you see, winds 88 knots from our right, so that's how we are flying. So it's blowing, we should turn this, okay, but it's blowing from this direction more or less. 288, it's coming from here to here, so that's why the airplane it's crossed. And that's why here even you could see that the plane is not aligned at all with the line. If there's no wind, then it goes straight. Or even if the wind is a tailwind, so pushing from our back, or front wind hitting in our face. Ground speed 389. TX or TXX. Then we've got 42 miles. We are fine still at this flight level. We will not start descending until we get more or less around here. Okay. Just where we are around London, that's where London Stansted. On our left, we will have Cambridge, famous for its university. So now we could enjoy the views, which is as usual in the UK, clouds. It's not cold even though. We are going to enter now, during this period, the destination data. Okay, which I'm going to do just here. Performance, we are going to be hitting 80s, and I'll be entering it here. Okay, so let's go for winds, temperature, and then QNH. And then we will enter we can enter already the minimum decision altitude, which in this case for London City, it's around 800 feet or something like. If my mind is not reaching, okay, no, 630. So we already could enter this information. We can clear the message. 630 comes here, and then we start hearing what the girl or the guy has to tell us. Oh, come on. It's not telling us anything. Cool. So we will have to enter it manually because I've been seeing it before. Do we have any 80s? Ground 80s. 136355, which is the one that I have, and it's not coming. Uh-oh. It's not coming. Okay, do we have any transition altitude? I think it's given by the ATC. Yeah, transition level by ATC. So we will leave it at 6,000 feet. That's when we will... Oh, I missed that. We should be in standard. My God. So now it's going to adjust the height, in theory, no? I think I've got this in another window either. Yes, that's right. Come on. Oh. Okay. Now should be fine. Okay, let me close it. Then let me look at it. I'm going to look the weather. I'll start in this case from the top, QNH. Let me... yeah, it's... turn away. Weather. Conditions. I'm going to refresh. And we still have the same 996 altimeter. So I'm going to enter, come on, 996. 996. Temperature. It's not that cold in London, actually. It's not that cold. Temperature, it's 12 degrees, so it's fine. It's just because of the feeling of the wind, it felt like freezing. Before it was also rainy. 12 degrees. Wind, and that's how you don't know how to enter, because it's been variable. Wind is variable, 23 knots, gusting to 38, and wind direction is from 170 to 230. So I'm going to enter the note 205. 205 at, it's gusting up to 40 knots almost, at 30. 205 at 30. Come on. 205 at 30. I don't know how to enter here. Probably we should enter the worst. Let's leave it like that one. 30 no. At least the speed of the wind, let's increase it to 38. So 205, which is more or less the average of the wind blowing from one direction to the other, at 38. Done. We'll leave it here, and we could start already our descent and reducing our speed. Okay, I'm going now, from now to do this. I pull at 70. Speed should, oh, okay, it's already decreasing, so which is fantastic. And then height, we've got 120. We are at around 45 miles. Let's wait for a little bit more. If we move it to 120, I think that if I pull, it might start descending, but just a little. Okay. And once we are over Jaco, we will need to remember to activate the approach phase. That's flight level 90, so just before getting to Jaco, and start switching on the lights. Going to treat myself with a Carling. Cheers, guys. And girls. There's a link. Yeah, but I cannot see that link. So I know that you've been putting this. There's also an app which I use, which is called Avia Weather. That's really cool. Which is this one. I don't know whether you could see it. It's this one. It only costs, I think it's £3 or £2. But for, you can add any airport, and you will have also the weather, as you could see probably here. I hope that you can see something. Okay. London City. Buenas, Javier. And here you've got the weather for all the airports, the active runways and everything. So we've got 22 knots blowing lateral wind and 7 knots just headwind. Okay, that's how it's been decomposed, the wind. So let's keep going. It's already started our descent, which is fine. What we need to do is just start with the speed to 250. I'm going to put it a little bit lower, 245 or something like. Just to decrease it, what it does is just leveling the aircraft, It's not increasing the thrust. As you can see, then the speed, it's getting down, and once it gets to that speed, the nose slightly will be going down. Okay, so we will achieve this restriction that we've got at Nudna, which was at 250, as we can all see also here. If you just remove this, then you will not have it. Okay, I'm going to, I don't think there's any storm anyway, but I'm going to move the weather radar into this. So if there's any storm cell, it will be drawn. And on this one, I'm going to activate the terrain radar. Okay, we've got already London on our left, right, exactly. We've got London on our right, Stansted, and here in our left, we've got Cambridge, but we cannot see it. And yet that's how dark days are in the UK, especially in winter. Okay. Pretty soon I'm going to be switching off the autopilot, and more or less from around here we'll be doing the rest of the approach, which we can review, and we will be adjusting there. Well, just let's take a look onto this, because we've got the restriction this at Jaco at flight level 90. The real approach in the real world should be flown down and then up, while the people coming from the south, that's just exactly the opposite. They go up and then they turn left to come down. It's silly, but it's how it is. That's why we've got the restriction from the people coming from the south at 1100 feet at Godlu, and the same at Lima Charlie Echo 13, while people coming from here it's 90. So we are not going to ignore this step here. We are going to fly from Jaco into Babku and then direct into Rapsa at 6000. Okay, and London it's very common also to see 4000, 6000. In other places it's 6000 or up or below or something like. And this is because this is a very congestionated airspace. We've got 5 big airports with hundreds of flights daily, hence it needs to be very, very controlled. We are over Nudna now. Let's see if the plane is doing what it should. Yep, 2120, 250, so we are fine. It's turning. Restrictions 250, 12000. It comes here, the 12000 that I've configured in the autopilot, and the plane will start accelerating because we are almost descending at idle. We've got some thrust, but not much. Okay, it's indicated here it's following the speed that I gave it to it. And the maximum speed here is 210, so we are going to start decreasing to 220. We keep this height of for 20 miles at 120. We've descended, in fact, earlier than we should, but that'll be fine. Going to have the last SIGI. And roll one more for later. Let's do a last review for this. 120, 90. Then this is the transition, which will lead us all straight into Lavno, our final approach fix. There are some holding points, and this is an radio navigation arrival. Okay, and then down into London City at 5.5 degrees. So it's a view. So to ensure this landing, I will be with full flaps, gear down, and I guess that I will have to put all my engines to idle. Okay, no thrust. It will go down, and I want it to go down really quick, as quickest as it could. 3,000 feet is around 1,000 meters, and we will have the City of London just in front of us. That's where I work. That's where my job is. And where I live will be a little bit farther, but on the left, just in front of Canary Wharf, which is all the space with the skyscrapers and all of that. Many banks, consulting firms. Yep. Okay. Come on, let's continue. We are getting to Jacko, which was flight level 90. Done. It's starting the descent. We've started it a little bit earlier because we still have the tape a little up, so that's why it's maintaining. But we are going to start our deceleration to 190. I don't want to go quick. It's very important to maintain the speed. Okay. Well, I should have hold because it's still here the constraint at 120. That's probably why it's been held the plane at 120. A little bit quicker. 195. I don't want this to go down, or I could just open flaps, position 1. So the advisors about speed will disappear. And we continue. Last time to read you all before I land. We've got same messages. Buenas, Javi. How are you doing, mate? ¿Cómo estás? Last turn to Jacko and 90 to 10. It's increasing the speed. It still should reduce a little. We already have flaps at 1. I'm going to try to force this to 190. But it's in the descent path, as we can observe, with this magenta being shown there. Okay. And guys, let's close this. And ladies, let's center on this and the wind 57 blowing from there, then we will have it blowing from our left during the whole approach. 57 knots, 56, 57. It's pretty much what we've got in the ground. Okay, I don't think there's any more time to be smoking. Neither drinking. So let's leave that there. Autopilot goes off. Auto thrust goes off. And now it's everything on my hands. Start blessing. Okay. Switch off all the alarms and clear all the messages. Message cleared. Jacko at 9,000. Let's look for Jacko 9,000. Well, I think that you've already seen my hat, so I'm going to try to move this down so you could see how my hands hopefully play with the joystick and the thrust. The only thing that I'll be looking, because as you see the weather over there, it's pretty bad. I'm going to zoom this. It's this cross. This is why it's called instrumental flight rules. Okay. Maximum 210. I've just got completely the thrust. This is what I'm controlling with my left hand. I've got it the other way around, but that's how it is. It's silly, but there are no joysticks, as far as I'm aware, with an Airbus layout. We should turn right and go down to Rapsa, because we are going to ignore this point here with that restriction to 6,000. Okay, 6,000 is already here, and turn right. As you see, I'm going down with an idle position because I want to start reducing my speed. I'm below the descending path, nothing to be concerned until I reach the 6,000. So I'm going to increase a little the nose. I'm already established on that heading, which should be... We don't have the heading here. Oh yes, 204. So just for help, I'll be doing that. Well, if you fly with the autopilot, it will be simple. Just click here, auto thrust, and go to sleep. Okay? So simple. But that's not what I like doing. So auto thrust, and this goes off, alarms off, message, auto flight, auto thrust off. Yes, I know, and I'm clearing it. Going to the right. Speed is following, so I'm going to increase my speed. There's no constraint in speed until we get into here, but I don't want to get there very quick, so I'm going to try to keep it at around 170-ish. I'm going to move this down to 170 just to have the figure on the main display about the speed that I want to maintain. Okay. Now it's headwind. Look at the ground speed. It's 154. We've got 60 knots. Let's got thrust. And I click here just to center myself with the BIOS. Now a little bit further. Yeah, something like 170 is what I want to achieve, and then I don't want to open either, so I'm going probably to keep 180. I don't want to open flaps too, because I should also extend my landing gear. So let's keep it a little bit. And then activate approach phase, confirm. And here we've got the speeds, okay. Open at 200, we've already done it. Slats at 187. Full at 149. Landing speed 132. Okay. And approach speed 137. We are in Babku. And then right towards Rapsan, where the whole wind is going to start making us dance. Lights are on, seat belts on, cabin crew, seats for landing. We've said QNH was 996, we are going to start preparing it here, 996, and as you start seeing here, the plane starts dancing. Comienza el baile. 996. We've said, right? Yes, 996. Let's turn to our right. need to be at 6,000 feet once we get to RAPS. Clouds, clouds, and clouds. And this is where the River Thames, El Rio Támesis, it's just bringing the water to the ocean. That's fine. You see how simple this plane needs to be flown manually, and here you can already observe the direction that the plane is keeping. It's moving me outside from the line where I should be, so I'm going to turn slightly to the left. To maintain heading 246, which is indicated here, and as you can see I'm flying around 10 degrees of deviation. Going to start going down to 60, so push a little forward, which you can see also here, and as I descend the speed increases, so I will reduce my thrust. I do at least until I get into around here at BEP with flaps 1, and then I'll be opening flaps 2 here. Well, no, flaps 2 we could open them at Lima Charlie Echo 07. Let's zoom here. Let's accelerate a little down to 6,000 we've set. Yes, here we should start opening everything. I just want to keep my speed under control. Here you could see also the windmills that we've got in the channel, El Canal de la Mancha. I don't know what's the name of it in English. The region that separates us from Belgium. Belgium is here, and France is over there. And Amsterdam, Holland, Netherlands, it's just in that direction. Okay, here you could see more or less the eastern part of United Kingdom. I hope I can give you some beautiful views of the exterior, but I don't think it will be now. So from this side, what we've got is a big harbor on the River Thames. That we've got also Queen Elizabeth Bridge, which is spectacular, and it will be in our left. Queen Elizabeth Bridge, it's more or less around here. Look at as the plane is going up and down on its own. I want to go down and it doesn't. It's dancing, as you could see. I'm still, and this is moving the plane as it wishes. It's going to be funny. Again, it's going up. Okay, less lights. Yeah, perfect. Okay, now we need really to start moving down because we should cross RAPSA at 6,000. Let's cut the thrust. Let's try to follow the pink line, and then after RAPSA, gap gauge is still at 6,000. We'll try to keep that height, but it looks a little bit difficult now, and it will be more difficult, I guess. in a few minutes. We've got, well, just this is what we've got missing. Spoilers. Auto brake, medium. Turn right to gap gear. Let's increase the thrust a little because we were descending to keep this 6,000 feet. Restriction that we've got up gap gear. And then 4,000. It's 4 miles only. We're at 4-1. We've already spent 46 minutes flying. And the wind now starts coming from our left. Going to accelerate, don't want to lose speed. Let's be sure that we've got the ILS, which I think we do. Radial, yes, 11115. Course go 273. It's 273, so we've got this all right. Let's increase the speed again. 2 miles to gap gear. We are flying really slow. On respect to the ground, it's 136 only. Although in the air we've got 160. And that's because of the crosswind component, okay? The sinus plus the cosinus and all of that, okay? I'm going to go up, and it's going up. I'm going to go down to 6,000, which is where I should remain, and look here how the plane is completely crossed. Let's keep that 6,000. I'm going to do one trick. A little bit more of sun. Come on. It's for free. We can play God and turn the sun as we want. Gap gear, then 4,000 to Lima Charlie Echo. And that's where I'm going to start flaps to and extending the gear. And going down to 4,000. Again, simple. Click here, click there. Everything is fine, okay? I don't want to keep the speed so high. 160. And look, even though with the autopilot, it's okay, what it's saying? Auto flight, auto thrust limited. Okay, because I should have it here, the position. No? Or maybe not. Well, I don't care. I'm going to switch it all off. It's to... Okay, shut up. Clear this. I'm very low now. I'm very slow. Very low now. Very slow. Okay. 160. We've set. And 4,000. Come on, so let's go down. 4,000. If we go down, that'll be fine. Okay, we've got up front just the river Thames now. To 4,000. Then we've got descent to Labno up to 3,000. Let's increase the speed a little. We've set to keep it at 160. At 150. Just let's do this. The plane is auto trimming itself. We are now up to maximum speed here 170, so we are fine. Then the 4000, it's around there. We might be able even to a quick fag. And look again how the plane is flying in respect to the line. We've got a threshold for it. This should be 273. 273 heading. So which is this blue sign, and we are flying almost 15 degrees to our left. Come on, let's go down now to this 4000. Let's go down, down, down. Let's decelerate. I'm starting to get nervous, if I'm honest with you. Okay, now we've got a little bit less wind, but it's still 60. Wind at 60 knots. This is almost a hurricane. It's 120 kilometers per hour of wind that we've got here. I'm going to start opening flaps 3. And this looks very slow, and it's mostly because of the wind. Look at this, we are only at ground speed 115, so that's 200 kilometers per hour if we were in the ground. However, we are flying at 280, 140. Going to accelerate a little bit more. The 4000 that we should be, we are a little up. Come on, Lima Charlie Echo, it's just up front, 1 mile. I'm still high. And then the 3000 for lap now. That's what we are going to configure here as reference. Come on. Let's go down. Well, we are being happy because the clouds seem to have risen a little since we started the flight at Manchester. Before it was at 2000. Now it looks like 4,400 or something like. I think I can start seeing the runway over there. Yes, that's the city and some lights. The Shard. And probably here you'll notice, yeah, that's Queen Elizabeth Bridge. Okay. Now we are at 4,000 and then down to 3,000. I'm going to increase a little bit more the speed because I'm almost hanging continuously. And now I've got more drag with the flaps, so I need more speed, more throttle. Yeah, a little bit more of thrust. Not much, but a little. And as you see, as slower I am, the harder the wind effect is, and the more I will need to turn to the left to fight the crosswind that we've got now. If I would keep flying, I would go into that direction, which is straight into the bridge, while the airport is on our right. It's just there. Okay? It's there. I hope that you can see it, and I'm sure that you can. Come on, let's go down to 3,000. The plane, I don't know why, trying to go up, and that's what I don't like. I'm sorry for the passengers. You've got plastic bags if you need to throw. That's all I can say. Full flap, and we are going to start centering ourselves into here. At a distance of 5 miles over London, we should be at 3,000 feet, which is here, and that's a distance of 5, and then start our descent at 5.5 degrees, which, guys, you could configure it here and do something like that, but the trouble is this, which I don't like. So I'm going to keep flying this completely manual and ignore that. Oh my god. Come on, let's go down. Let's keep this. We know already that at 5 miles from the ALS, localizer, which we could already, I guess, start showing here. And full flaps now. That will give me a little bit more of a space in the speed. Okay. I've got the runway inside. There we've got the distance. The ILS, we don't have the distance. So that's weird. And I guess it's probably because I haven't clicked on approach. No, it should be giving me the distance for the ILS. And it didn't. It didn't. That's weird. 6. Well, look how high I am. So I need to go down from 3,000 feet down to sea level. Now it starts raining. Additionally, if it wasn't enough, I'm really deviated from the runway. Should turn to the left. Don't know how this is going to end up today. Could become a full disaster, but hey, that's what simulation has. This is not real life. I'm sure that probably today the London City Airport is closed, or at least they are using auto landing, that's for sure. We should go down now, so let's cut the accelerator, and I don't know why this is not catching the ILS, which makes things even more difficult. If it wasn't enough difficult, more difficult. We don't have distance, but I think that I'm around these 5 miles. Now there's less wind, so we need to correct the heading. We are a little low now. This deep descent is because just reducing the noise. Yeah, I know, I'm low on speed. Let's increase it a little. Poof. I'm completely crossed. I'm completely crossed. Now we've got 2 white, 2 red, 3 white. We are up. Come on. Looks like wind is slowing now, but it's gusting. That's what makes it more difficult. We need to go further down. I'm going to fully cut the throttle. 27 knots now. Descending at 20,000 feet, 2,000 feet per minute. Wind has increased, 33 now. Short runway. It's just 1,500 feet. Let's keep it low. Come on. 100, that's cool. Oof. Come on, land. Yes! Thrust. Brakes. Come on, let's go to the center. Woof! We did it. Welcome to London City, where the temperature, it's nice, however, the weather is horrible. The weather is completely horrible. We landed safely. Don't know how good it was. We'll see now the replay. Okay, let's stop here. Let's take a breath. Switch off. No, switch off. No, I had them off. I had all the landing lights off. Oh my God. When did I switch them off? I'm sure that I switched them off. On. And I forgot them all. Okay. So they are off. So that's fine. Let's at least taxi. And let's go to our left. Let's disengage. Yes, squawk. I apologize if there was any ATC control here. And I'm really exhausted. I'm tired. I'm tired. And as I've said, this airplane is not authorized to land in this airport. However, there's an A319 operated by BA. BA is British Airways, which flies from here to New York. And you'll ask, well, if this is a plane that actually the A319 that cannot cross the Atlantic, how that plane can do it? Well, this plane is flying from here, London City, to Ireland. Don't remember the name of the city, but it's on the west coast of Ireland. It takes off here with not full fuel, just for that hour, and then it's refueling, which probably is that one. That's the A318 that I was mentioning. Yep. Okay. We are going to park side by side. If we have a space, as we don't, we will park here somewhere. Come. That's the British Airways that it's flying to New York. It's a flight that has been in service for almost 10 or 11 years. And it's flying from here to Ireland, and then from Ireland, it's a 6-hour flight, only, or 5.5, to New York City, to John Fitzgerald Kennedy. Also, it doesn't carry as many passengers. I think it has 10 or 12 rows. They are all business class, so there are only 2 passengers on each line. They can make a whole bed. It's posh, posh, posh. Superb. Okay, once I've got money, I would like to afford a ticket on that plane and fly to New York, just for the pleasure of doing it. Well, here we are. Okay, let's wait for the 6 minutes. Let's start switching off the plane, and then we'll do the replay, which I promise you it's going to be... It doesn't look as madness from inside as it was from outside. I can certainly promise you that. Okay, we don't have ground power, so let's switch the ground power, Toliss. Let's put the external power, now it's available, switch it on, and then we can switch off our engines. Both engines are now switched off. We've got still electricity through the ground. We might need to switch the brakes, fan. Yep, brakes are hot. So that's the next thing that we should have done. Okay. What else? What else? We can switch off the radars. This radar. Well, basically we need to switch off everything. Flaps. Closed, which I completely forgot. And fuel pumps off. I'm tired of this flight, really. I'm tired. Switch off also the IRS. Beacon can be also switched off. Wings off. Navigation, we will keep it. Taxi and everything else was off. Seat belts, yes. You can go out. Okay, now you can smoke if you want to, once you exit the terminal. And it's fine. External power off. Batteries 1 and 2 off. Whew! That was tough. I hope that you've enjoyed it. Just hold with me for a second. I'm going to read your comments. I'm going to put you probably this view, which is a little bit nicer. Yes, there are things exciting in London. I'm sure there are. Okay, we still have 3 people watching the stream, which is as often. I don't care about people. And yes, let's start preparing this to project full screen plus cam. Ooh. Going to remove this. Hey, follow me here. Follow me here. Well, probably better. Okay. Let's go back to explain. Click on F12. Tap. Disconnect from eval. Close eval. I haven't looked. Oh, now probably you cannot hear me. Let me put this here because this is where I have the microphone. And let's do the repeat, please. There was any control? I hope there wasn't. No, it looks fine. There wasn't. Great. And then let's come to the replay. Let's go around. No. Here? Oh, now we've got doors open and everything. Oh, holy shit. Then let's do a repeat from this place. Okay. Oh, what a pity. That's not nice. That's not nice. Let's go quicker. But look, again, the direction that I'm taking is to go into the airport, which is there. Height was being moved by the air. Look, this, I'm sorry, but there is something that I don't like. So I'm going to stop the replay. I'm going to close the doors. And we'll do the replay with the doors closed. Toliss open ICS screen, doors to close, close. Where is it? Where is it? Doors to close. I don't want any doors open. Yep, doors closed. Okay, and now replay. I'm more or less around here. Yes, a little bit back, somewhere around there. Okay, here we go. Let's look the direction of the runway where it was. Incredible, right? That the plane can land with such a huge wind, and it can. At the end, we can see the shark, HSBC Bank of London. That's where I was a little deviated from the center line, so I had to turn more even to my left. That's what I noticed. Turn more to the left to align again on the runway. "5 miles and descend as crazy." Petrol and oil. And this is starting to look beautiful. The other runway also can be used, but if this one is tough, that one, visually, it's spectacular. Just because you've got HSBC Bank and all of that, as I will show you just in a bit. All those banks here are almost on the approach line. Okay. We could put it like that. No, we are still far from the threshold. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Unbelievable. Simply unbelievable, though, what a plane can do. And the landing wasn't that bad, I guess. A little bit long, wasn't in the center, but given the situation, it wasn't that bad. Okay. It's a pity that I don't have now the landing lights switch on. I don't know what happened and I didn't check it. So that's been my fault. That's why there are two pilots. That's why there's a pilot driving and the other one taking care of all the stuff. Okay, let's look at it from this angle. I still forgot to delete one. To close one of the doors. And well, that's how it goes. Yeah, let's do one more time. Let's play one more time, Sam. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. No, look at control. How close the plane was. Beautiful. Didn't make much flare, but still back wings are touching before the front wing. What a pity that I didn't turn on the landing lights. It would have looked much more spectacular. It would have looked much more spectacular if I had switched on the lights, but I didn't notice. Here we've got this door open still. I didn't close it before. So well, that's been the video for today. If you've liked, just subscribe, click on I like it, and I'll do your questions below. And I'll be trying to do more videos like this. Okay? Have fun. Good evening. Buenas noches. Hasta pronto. Y chao, chao. Oh, there are a few comments. Okay. Sí, sí. Era difícil. It was difficult. It was difficult. Yeah. And being all the whole approach being manual. Mm-hmm. Well, that's what they say, ¿no? Todos los aterrizajes de los que sales andando es un buen aterrizaje. Y si además se puede volver a usar el avión, y aquí yo creo que sí, se podría volver a usar el avión, es un aterrizaje perfecto. Cool. Thank you so much, Philip. Thank you so much, Carol, and thank you so much to everyone. I hope that you've enjoyed it. Okay? Have a nice evening. Bye-bye. Ciao, ciao. Arrivederci. Auf Wiedersehen. Adios.